Hey Pete, we're just talking about this pivot here now. I've drawn the yellow lines on the outside of my hips, right, and the blue line representing my spine angle, and the red line is the center of my stance. So the keys here it's set up are the belt buckle, and you can see it here, is just in front of the red line. In other words, the belt buckle is in front of the center of my stance, and as I go up, my head is behind the center of the stance, which puts me on roughly about a 10-degree spine angle tilt, which is I guess sufficient for most shots. The yellow lines represent where the hips start, and we're going to talk about those now as we get into this backswing. So as I turn back, I want you to watch the yellow line on the right leg. As I turn back, that right leg starts to turn inside that yellow angle. And if you look at the, let's call it the butt cheek on the left leg, it stays where it is. In other words, if my hips spin on the spot, which they are exactly there, the gap will open up on the right, yet the glute on the left will hit the line, right? And that's what should happen, because your hips are wider when they're front on than they are when they're sideways. So if they spin on the spot, you should get hip gap here on the right, which I'm getting, and spin around or maintain that spine angle that I'm turning around, that 10 degrees of tilt. Then as I make transition, we move into that shot a little bit with the lower body and then turn hard, which gets us into the hitting area. My head's still in the same position as I make contact, right? And then I release that club through impact and release my body. But it's this backswing we're really talking about. We're pivoting on the spot, and the big keys are the hips pivot directly on the oscillator, directly on the spot, creating that small hip gap, and my head does not travel anywhere, which means that I pivot directly around the blue line or my spine angle. And that's the drill I want you to try to encourage there, pivoting around your angle. Look at me spin around that blue angle. That's all I want you to do over and over in this coming weekend.